What up traders, what up investors, Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you so much for joining in for another fantastic video. Today we're going to be looking at Amazon. Yes, that is the Jeff Bezos company, and of course we've seen a pretty enormous sell-off within the overall NASDAQ and the tech-heavy companies, but Amazon has been somewhat of a juggernaut. It's kind of making a pretty strong recovery coming in today, really bouncing off hard off that 50% retracement of its previous swing high to low. Again, that levels at 3116. Basically, it's the level that we're looking for, potential bounce, and it's going to be initial or first line of support with that large move down kind of a somewhat of a recovery here, looking for a potential break above that 3246 and potentially get above that 3300 or $3,300 level. Again, that's where the 21 EMA somewhat lies. Again, we have taken on some damage. Be mindful, again, keep a note of that 21 EMA, that 3300 level. We'll come back to that in a second by when we look at some options going out here a little bit. Again, Amazon is super highly priced stock. It's going to be very difficult to be trading straight options because you're going to have to be really kind of make it more of a some kind of a debit spread on the call side, or going to be what I'm going to be looking at is potentially selling some premium because the IV is fairly high and I want to collect some of that theta decay. You know, I love that. Looking for potentially some holding patterns around that 50% retracement with that stronger move higher. Again, we're still midday, coming around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, looking for that, again, that move to potentially get above that 3300 in the near term. We have seen some damage with Amazon, of course, with that sell-off. What if you want to put it on SoftBank, just Robinhood traders or whatever? Like, it's going to be a lot of folks who got really greedy and ran things up, and then everyone just tried to run to the door and try to be the first one out. So there's a lot of people who shot and then didn't ask a lot of questions and just really just played that pointing game of like who did it, who done it kind of thing. That doesn't matter. I don't really care about that. Looking here at the charts and the fundamentals of Amazon, of course, Amazon is continued growing fundamentally. It's really just taking market share, especially in this kind of economic climate. And more I see is I just look out my window and I just see an Amazon truck fly by every an hour or so. So that being said, I'm not saying that's my whole due diligence on because I see how many Amazon trucks fly by my neighborhood. That would be something like a Wall Street Bets person would say, like, "Hey, on Tuesday, guys, I saw 5 to 7 Amazon trucks go by, and I think they were at least holding a ton of boxes. So yeah, let's buy it." Let's buy $5,000 calls. No, I'm not. That was a joke. But looking here for this momentum to really start breaking out to that above that $3,300 level. So why do I keep on saying the 21 EMA and the $3,300 level? So we're looking here at the shorter dated options here. We're just going to look strictly at the monthlies, not at the weekly. So we're going to look at the 18th of September. We're seeing a lot of volume coming in here at that $3,300 strike price on the call side. We're seeing literally 838 contracts or volume today, and as of right now, there's 3,100-ish open interest or open interest contracts at that limit. Again, that's pretty significant. I know that these options, again, one of these calls is $6,700, but you can make this a call spread and make it kind of break it down. You can kind of see that potentially people are buying the 3,300 and then selling the 3,330 or even somewhat lower. But that being said, this is, again, an out of the money option. So be very careful with out of the money options. This again, it's a very short dated options. I'm not saying I'm going to be buying this one. This is not really my cup of tea. I just wanted to highlight those numbers. Looking further out to around the October timeframe, so 37 days from here, we're seeing that 3,300 come in again. So look at this, 3,300. We have nearly 6,800 open interest. Just today, I had 277 traded volume on that price as well. It's not up that significantly. The delta is a little bit higher. Again, we have a little bit more time on this, so the time decay is not really kicking in here. The theta is not really taking too much off, but it's going to start kicking in, of course, once the time starts getting around that 30 to 28 days, you're going to see that theta kick in. And then with further off we go, let's just go all the way out to November options. And guess what? We see that 3,300 here again with a lot of high open interest. So Not saying that this is going to be the magical number that Amazon's going to be going to, and a lot of people are looking for. Usually, I'm somewhat of a contrarian. I'm seeing like, oh, okay, there's a lot of people around this options around these particular open interest on that particular strike price on multiple different time frames. So that's something that kind of scratches my brain, and potentially I like to kind of consider and look at. And what I really like is that it really lines up with the way I do my technical analysis, and it lines up with that 21 EMA. So that is a very key point for me to have for a potential to break above that level. With this momentum, again, with that pretty steep downselling and a lot of people getting run into that door again, we can see that momentum continue to the upside if we can get that volume to come in. As you look here, the RSI is kind of potentially kind of coming back into normal. If we see that above 50, that's going to be a really good sign. Right now, the volumes on oscillators in the negative territory. It's not an extreme negative territory, but it's enough negative territory where it's a little bit concerning. We want to see that above that zero, really want to see it above that 20, plus 20 on this one to really get that momentum going. And as well, talking about momentum is the TTM squeeze. We again have taken on some damage with a pretty large downturn in about 3 days. That momentum has kind of really dried up. We had a lot of volume kind of traded in around those 3 days. So we have taken on some water. If we are a vessel, we're not really the most seaworthy right now. We really need to start seeing some signs of this trend to continue. Because again, if we look back just recently, just this year, the last couple months, that 21 EMA has just been a fantastic magnet and a potential stopper, support, and resistance to the downside. And we have broken it a couple times, but now again, we have really broken through it. So it really needs to come back and prove itself. So I'm not going out here and just throwing all my money at it. I want to be playing it pretty conservatively by just selling some puts and potentially seeing how that plays out to kind of let this see to start to continue to get it back above where the normal levels were above that 21 EMA. Again, anything can happen in the market. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. Warren Buffett doesn't have a crystal ball. Elon Musk doesn't have a crystal ball. Just be mindful of like anything can happen. We have had just a large pretty downward move. Again, people are telling you to buy the dip. I honestly would question them if they actually know what that means. I think people just say that word because it's a term that you hear a lot in the trading side of things. One of the things I'm hearing and looking at is potentially a dead cat bounce. If you're not familiar with a dead cat bounce is basically you get a swing up, swing down, then a swing up, and then it fails at usually let's just make a round number, the 50% retracement. So the level where we would fail at this level would be basically around the 3,330 level for a potential reversal. This could just be a really strong V-shaped bottom. That being said, anything can happen. Be super mindful, be careful out there, folks. And if you're interested in joining the channel, we have the YouTube Patreon, or the Patreon page, YouTube membership, and we also have a fantastic Discord. We have a lot of folks sharing ideas, talking about stocks, sharing memes, and just having a good time on making a really fun, interactive community to cultivate people's knowledge of the market. If you're interested as well, if you want to use the platform, which I want to be potentially doing more of an in-depth look at how I use Tastyworks, which is the trading platform I use for trading options directly. I will be doing a potential demo if people want to see that on my setup and this the way how I look and scan for potential trades in that, and as well potentially doing a video on Thinkorswim on some scan tools that I use to potentially see on what could be happening in the market. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace!